Hi, my name is Kathleen and I wrote this book, Loving Choices, Peaceful Passing, Why My Family Chose Hospice. What do you say when your father tells you he doesn't want to live like this anymore? That's what my dad said to me, and at the time he said it, I just froze. I had no words of comfort, no plan of action. I just didn't have any words at all. We were alone in the living room of the retirement community apartment that they lived in, waiting for Mom to get ready to go to dinner. And after a moment, she came in and we went down to the dining room. And I had a reprieve from that conversation. And I never brought it up to him again. And to this day, I still regret that. About 10 days later, Dad was given the diagnosis of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and was given 4 weeks to live without treatment. And after 3 weeks of radiation, he was taken to the hospital from the oncology clinic in an ambulance because he was too weak to take more treatment. When I walked into the hospital room that evening, I knew my dad was dying. And I had been manager of the Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program, which is a program of the state of California, and I knew the hospice benefit well. But even at that point, when I knew he was dying, I just couldn't find the words to talk with him about that option. So the next morning, I called Dr. Archer at his office and mentioned that we thought it might be time for hospice. He had not mentioned it to us at all up to that point. But when I suggested it, he said, "That's a good thing to consider at this point. It's best when the family decides." And I asked him at that point to help us discuss this with my father because we knew we couldn't do it by ourselves. And he agreed. He came in at 5 o'clock that evening to Dad's room and talked with him about how he was feeling. And of course, Dad was telling him how miserable and sick he felt. He said, I don't think I could get any sicker than I am right now. And Dr. Archer said, "Mr. Valley, we consider guys like you terminal." And we all stood there for a moment, my mom and me and Dr. Archer. And then Dad said, "Thank you, Dr. Archer. I've had a good long life, and I'm grateful." And it was from that moment that we focused on the rest of my father's life. We took him home where my sister and I took care of him with the help of the hospice staff, and we hired some home health aides to help us too. He was comfortable and well taken care of until he passed away peacefully in his sleep 29 days later. And when I tell people this story, I like to emphasize how strong those family mores are and how hard they are to break even when end-of-life decisions need to be made. My dad was the boss, and he was the boss of Mom and the kids my whole life. So those are barriers that are very hard to overcome, to have a conversation. And I hope people will take a look at my book and it might help them to go down this path with their parents. Again, it's Loving Choices, Peaceful Passing, Why My Family Chose Hospice. You can get it anywhere online where books are sold. Or if you live in the Los Angeles metropolitan area, you can buy it at Roman's Bookstore in Pasadena. I hope you'll pick up a copy and give it a read.